I'm really happy that you're here. My name is Anna, and if this is your first time joining one of our marketing trainings, welcome. You're likely watching this. Oh, thank you for that giving me that confirmation. If you're watching this video right now, it's probably because you're early on in your practice, and I want you to know that you are in good company. And that what we focus on in this group is helping you market yourself in a way that isn't just effective, but is also authentic to you, and that guides you through the process of figuring out who you are as a clinician. And that is sort of what we're going to be talking more about here today. So if you're joining me live, welcome. Thank you so much for letting me know that you can see and hear me. If you're catching the replay, wonderful as well. We are halfway through December. Life is crazy for all of us right now. So if you're carving out time for the replay, that's a-okay too. You can drop a hashtag replay into the comments. If you are here live, I welcome your questions. If there's anything that I say that has you going, or if you're catching the replay, you're welcome to do that as well. I welcome your questions, and I want to make sure that these are really actionable trainings for you. I think today's going to be pretty straightforward and hopefully quite short, which is nice when we're in such a busy season. But I think it's really, really important to be thinking about. If you haven't seen, we've opened up the waitlist for our reopening of Confident Copy in January. Twice per year, we open the doors at a discounted price and with some extra bonuses. And we open that waitlist this week. You can find all the details, walkerstrategyco.com/waitlist, one word. And about 54% of the students that go through Confident Copy are in their first year of practice. We get a lot of exposure to people who are kind of, walking along this journey. Of course, we have many of those folks here in this group as well. You very well may be one of them. And we also put out our State of the Industry survey this month, and that is a totally anonymous survey where we are gathering data on what's going on in our industry, and that includes where are you in your practice, and taking a look at the almost 300 clinicians that have taken that so far. 33% of those people have been in practice for a year or less. So it's a very saturated time. More and more clinicians are opening up their private practice. You probably feel that way. You're like, there's so many of me around. And as we sort of look at what's working for those folks and what's not, a couple things really rise up to the surface. So what we're talking about here today is the biggest mistake that I see therapists make in their first year in private practice. Spoiler alert, this is not going to be, oh, you didn't create a website, or you didn't dance on TikTok, or like a particular strategy. Although we're all about strategies around here, this is about like internal, like North Star of your marketing. So the biggest mistake that I see clinicians make in their first year, the distinction between the people who see success and sort of see the momentum pick up early, and the people who struggle more, not that they can't reach those goals, but the people that struggle more, the number one mistake that these therapists make their first year is they stay vague. They stay vague in their marketing. And a lot of times that's out of fear. That's out of fear of excluding someone. It's also probably out of fear of uncertainty. And that's a really common one I hear when you're early on in your practice. You're just figuring out, who do I want to be? Who do I want to attract? What is my niche? And so as a result, they end up staying super, super vague because they don't want to commit themselves to any certain area or any certain issue. It's often also out of imposter syndrome. They stay vague out of imposter syndrome. If that's something that that hits for you, let me know. But imposter syndrome private practice is so ripe for imposter syndrome, and marketing especially is ripe for imposter syndrome, because you might have these thoughts like, who am I to say I specialize in something, or I'm just figuring this out. I don't have as much training as other people. And so they water it down. They water their marketing down. Here's what I want you to know about this challenge. When you choose to stay vague in your marketing, if you don't know who you are, no one else can either. If you can't clearly communicate why you're the right therapist for the right client, how can you expect your clients to know that? And I'm talking, of course, in a very big way, what happens on your website, because your website is your number one marketing tool. But I'm also talking about in your referral conversations. I'm talking about any other marketing you do in directories or social media, all of the marketing that you do. If you don't know who you are, how can you expect other people to? And here's the thing. This isn't just like this vague, like, oh, pick a niche because everyone says that you should sort of thing. It's actually very concrete. When you don't know who you are, it makes you hard to refer to. So I'm talking about in networking relationships. If people that you've connected to that could potentially send clients your way don't have an understanding of who they are, who you are, they don't know who to send your way. And so you end up being very difficult to refer to. In the same way, when it comes to clients, if you don't know who you are, it makes you hard to connect to because you're not really talking to them or resonating deeply with them. And these first year clinicians just sort of stay on the surface and they hope this wide net that they cast is going to catch the fish, when in fact, it's deep nets that catch fish. What I want you to know here, and what might be coming up for you, is, well, I'm not ready to claim a niche. I'm not ready to claim a certain problem or person or commit myself to that. What I'm talking about here, about knowing yourself and about staying vague, is not claiming a niche for the rest of your career. It's not even necessarily claiming a certain demographic or a certain presenting issue. You still can absolutely be clear in your marketing and still be figuring out who you are and evolve. But you have to be able to put a name to that. Now, I want to give you, it's amazing where you sort of see marketing pop up, but this, I've shared this with Confident Copy students in the past, and it was very helpful for them. So I was driving along the interstate maybe like 18 months ago, and I saw a plumbing truck here in Nashville, for one of the plumbing companies here in Nashville, and they have branded themselves as being the on-time plumbers. Don't you hope any plumber you hire would be on time? Yeah, but because they said it, and because they've based themselves around it, that is their reputation. You don't have to, what you choose to claim early on in practice does not have to be this unicorn thing. It could be something that other clinicians should be doing and just don't say. It can be compassionate therapy. Even that gives you clarity. But you have to say what it is, or else you leave other people guessing. Recently, that happened to me again, just last week, I think. I was watching the news, and an HVAC company had a commercial on TV, and they, go through the whole story, or the whole, commercial. And then the last screen was the integrity guys. Don't you hope every HVAC company you'd ever hire would have integrity? Yeah. But because they say it, that's what they're associated with. What do you want your clients to associate you with? What do you want referral sources to associate you with? This does not have to be, like I said, claiming some super specific person or problem, but they've got to have some point of view that you have shared with them that then helps them know who they can send your way. And the same is true for clients. When we talk about niching around here, if you're new to our approach, if you're new to this community, we are like anti super specific niche. That's not true. We love super specific niches. We recognize they're not right for everyone. And so our approach allows for whatever level of variety you appreciate and whatever level of evolution you feel like you need to do. If you haven't yet taken our free niche quiz, that's actually a great place to start here. walkerstrategyco.com/free-quiz, no, niche-quiz. Totally free, and that will sort of guide you through. But there are four types of, there's sort of four angles you can use to focus your marketing. So if you're early on in your practice, I want you to consider these four groups. So sometimes you can focus your marketing around a particular type of person. That can be creative people. That can be an actual demographic like women. That can be type A. That can be professionals. It can be quite general. It does not have to be incredibly limiting, but if there's a particular type of person, when you reflect on the ideal clients that you want to be bringing in, if they share a unique characteristic about themselves, you can market your entire practice around that. Next up is a particular type of problem. Now, the traditional way of thinking about a niche is, trauma, anxiety, grief, whatever. The problem can be being stuck. The problem can be being caught in a cycle. The problem can be overthinking or people pleasing. It can be a lot of different things. It does not have to be an actual symptom. It can be kind of a challenge that the ideal client is facing at a higher level. It can be relationship issues. You can absolutely center yourself around that. And I would guess most of your clients, regardless of the type of work that you do, are coming in because the challenge they're experiencing is affecting their relationships. So if you call it that, you've automatically given focus to your marketing. Now, if you don't fall into either of those kind of traditional niche categories, I do therapy for women, or I do therapy for trauma, the other two can be very liberating, especially for people that are early on in their practice. The next one is a particular type of outcome. This is a great way to maintain a lot of variety in your marketing, but really focus around where you get your clients, where they want to go. We've successfully niched a clinician. She's experiencing great success. She's scaled to a group practice around therapy for long-term change. Again, sort of like the plumber and the HVAC. Doesn't every client like hope they're going to get some long-term change out of therapy? Yeah, but guess what? She said it because her clients were the people that were coming in really craving that. Yesterday, I was coaching someone in our Confident Copy, our weekly Confident Copy call around this. And she realized as she was thinking about her ideal clients that these are all people that have tried everything and they're ready for something new. And that's what we would call this fourth group, which is an approach or an environment, something that you offer them, something new, going beyond traditional talk therapy. Maybe you're really into somatic therapies. Maybe you take a very holistic approach. That can be very liberating too, because hear me when I say, even if you are on day one of private practice, there is a reason clients pick you. Figuring out what that is hard freaking work. So if you're not sure, if you reflect on that, you're like, I don't know. Keep exploring that. But please know that there is a reason people pick you. And that reason, once you can figure out what it is, can also focus your marketing. Something about the environment that you create or the approach that you take that your clients are looking for, appreciate, and value that leads to really great results and outcomes for them. So please know that staying vague out of fear because you're going to exclude people, out of uncertainty because you're not sure what to claim, or out of imposter syndrome because you feel like you're not an expert is only watering down your marketing. And instead of casting that wide net, there are no fish at the surface. You need to cast some sort of deep net. That does not have to be pigeonholing yourself into something for the rest of your career, but what it has to be is clear. A niche is simply about putting words to the work that you do best. So wherever you are in your practice right now, and however you do your best work, start putting words to that in your marketing, and referral sources are going to see that and they're going to know that's who to send to Anna. Okay, that makes sense to me. And your clients are going to be like, I knew I was looking for someone like you. You obviously understand me. You obviously are going to be able to get me where I want to go. We want clients to have that conversation in their head as they interact with your marketing. Because if we don't do that, it's very difficult to invite them into action. So that number one mistake, again, that I see clinicians make early on in their practice is they stay vague. And doing that for whatever reason, out of fear, out of uncertainty, or out of imposter syndrome is not, it's just not a good place to grow from. We have to get really clear about where and how and with whom you do your best work, and then let that evolve as you practice. Please know that your niche is allowed to evolve, it should evolve. And as you learn more about yourself as a clinician, as you grow in your skill set, and as you learn more about your clients and who you do your best work with, this isn't like an end point, but it absolutely needs to be a starting point. If you're just wandering, hoping people will, that you'll scoop these people up, that will be very difficult. We instead want people to interact with you and to immediately know if they're in the right place. We call that blessing, or if they're not, releasing. Your marketing needs to be doing both. It needs to bless and it needs to release, because the right people who are blessed are going to be invited into action and they're going to be compelled to reach out to you. If you need help with this, like I said, our free niche quiz is an awesome place to start. walkerstrategyco.com/niche-quiz. And as I shared, Confident Copy is an incredible place to get this type of support. Niching is my favorite thing in the whole world. Over 50% of the people that go through this program are new in their practice. And if you're struggling with putting words to this and then bringing that and infusing that into your marketing, that's exactly what Confident Copy was for. Join that wait list. There's absolutely no obligation, but you do get a one-on-one with me. So if you want some extra niche coaching, we could do that together, and a really great private pay coaching event, walkerstrategyco.com/waitlist. And also tell us in the survey what's going on for you, what you're noticing, where you're at. That is, again, totally anonymous, walkerstrategyco.com/SOI, state of industry. We would love to hear from you and be able to include your data in the analysis that we're doing that is going to help us understand where this industry is headed, what we're working with, so that the guidance that we're giving you here is as actionable and as up to date and as data driven as possible. All right, if you have questions, let me know. Let's see, Karina had one. Could virtual therapy for people that want convenience and comfort from home be a niche? Karina, It could. 5 years ago, it would have been an especially compelling niche. I think post-pandemic, it's really interesting what happened with online therapy, isn't it? Before pandemic, it was like, ooh, you do online therapy. And now post-pandemic, it's like, do you do in person? That's like how you distinguish yourself. But Karina, what you're doing here with the way that you've written that is you are highlighting the benefit and you are calling out the right person. Like online therapy for busy people. Online therapy is going to fit your schedule. Where you do it from the comfort of your own home, like that can be a niche. Now, underneath that, I still would recommend kind of articulating some different areas of specialty. But I love, this is a great example of like calling out what you do. Other people are online therapists, but you're calling out the convenience and the comfort of it. And that is compelling to people. So I absolutely think that you could make that work. What a great example. What a wonderful example. Any other questions you guys have? I hope this was helpful for you. If you're catching the replay, I welcome your questions as well. And I'll also drop the links to each of these items that I mentioned in the comments after we wrap up. You're welcome, Karina. I hope that was helpful. If you are in year one of private practice or you are preparing, 2024 is going to be an awesome year for you. It's going to be an awesome, awesome year. Now, consistency is important. Stay committed, as that momentum starts to grow, but get clear. And the sooner you do that, the sooner that momentum can start to build. We are cheering for you around here. If there's more that we can do, if you have questions, please interact in this group, make a post, let us know. You have an incredible community cheering you on with me in the front row. Have a wonderful weekend. I'll talk to you guys soon.